Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's the two old farts coming at you. My name is Chuck.
I'm Lou. I'm the better looking of two old farts.
Not with that damn long hair of yours.
Hey, I talked to one of your granddaughters the other day. She got a phone, Lydia, and she agreed with me. I was a better looking of the two old farts.
You need to get a haircut. You look like a damn dirty hippie.
I know it. You see it up on the side here, and it's getting long and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
that's what
Well,
I
I
looked
like
like this morning before I got my haircut. See how clean and
yeah. Shit. You ain't got no hair left.
nope, not on the side. She cut it down pretty good.
Not much. You're getting as thin on top as I am.
But you know
You
what?
think?
It'll grow back in 2 weeks.
Well, mine gets a little longer, but it takes about a month and it goes back.
Now mine about 2 weeks, and I need a haircut every 2 to 3 weeks.
I told your mom the other day I need to buy some of that stuff to make my hair grow. I'm starting to get a little thin on top. You go
Yeah. What's that?
you go you go to the same barber?
Yeah, I try to.
Yeah, me too. I like to go sit in the chair and she kind of knows what I want. I don't have to waste any time getting her confused on what I want. Trying
Exactly.
to sound,
A lot to be said for going to the same barber. Once they know how to do it, you just sit down and they just go to town.
exactly. The one I used to go to, I've been going to her for a long time. She passed away suddenly this summer. Uh, she was kind of young. I think she was in her early 60s, and I
Yeah, that
really
is
liked
really
her.
young.
And she's from Alabama originally, so we always had good conversations and stuff like that, and always finish up with a roll tide and all that kind of stuff, And then went in one day and she wasn't there, and that's when they told me. So there's another lady there that she's always been real friendly and stuff. So I just started going to her, and after about 2 times, she figured out kind of what I wanted. Just told her to cut it close on the side. The first time she's going to do it's going to look like yours on the side. I said no, because there was a guy in there that another barber give one is pretty like yours, pretty close on the side. I said no, not that close. So she said okay, I got you. But it's a good experience. You meet some nice people that, as a general rule. You know.
Yeah, it's always good when you can meet nice people.
Yeah, and it's good business when you go to a local place.
Oh, absolutely.
Keep
Instead of a
keep
national
your
chain.
yeah, keep your money local and help some people, and then when you get a good haircut and you get some recommendations and a little tip, money stays at home.
Yep. But the next thing you do, you got to get on the social media and you got to give them good reviews on Google reviews and Yelp and all that stuff. That helps their business.
I usually do. I haven't done it for my barber, but her name is Maria. So her English is bad as mine. She's more Spanish, and I'm more Southern. So
You're more Alabama.
let me tell you something funny. Last time I went, I was taking my hearing aids out. So I said, when I take these out, I can't hear you. So she starts talking to me with sign language. I said, "Oh no, I didn't mean I could not hear you that much, but that's how nice she is. But I thought that was kind of funny. Yeah, it didn't dawn on me at first. I was looking at her; she was doing all this, with the fingers and stuff. Then it dawned on me she was trying to talk to me in sign language, which I I thought that was pretty nice. I appreciated that that gesture.
Maybe you need to start learning sign language
Yeah, you're probably right.
because you're
Getting
about
to a
deaf as a
point
post.
I may need it down the road somewhere. Your mom and I were doing that the other day. Your Uncle Leonard came down Friday.
Right.
Him, he comes down, and me and him and Bobby goes to lunch. Just we always do that before Christmas. So I was hurrying up. I was in the shower. Your mom come in and he started doing all this hand signal to let me know that he was on the way. I said, I can hear you.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But we had a good time. Always have fun when Uncle Leonard and Uncle Bobby, and we always get together. Nothing like family.
I wouldn't know. I never get invited to go.
Well, if you wasn't working, we'd invite you.
On the
He doesn't
weekends?
even, they don't even invite their own sister. What are you talking about? It's just the three of us, and we just actually Friday was probably spent about 4 hours. Leonard got to the house well after 11, and he didn't leave till after 4 to go home. Then it took
Wow.
him 5 hours to get home.
5?
The road had an accident somewhere on 35.
He needs to take 281.
It took him an hour and a half to go a mile.
Tell him to take 281 and then get off in, God, not Kempner. I can't think of the dang town. And then take that highway all the way to 35. I mean, it's about 30 miles out of the way, 40 miles, but you ain't got to mess with that 35 mess.
It comes back in on 35, pretty close to where you get off to go to Fort Hood, right? In that area?
It runs right past Fort Hood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we had a good time, and
Well, it isn't Fort Hood anymore. It's Fort Cavazos.
Yes. But some of us old farts are still Fort Hood, even though
I know, but it's Fort Cavazos, named after the first Hispanic general in the U.S. Army to make
which is actually a fitting tribute for him. He was from what little bit I've read about him, he was a pretty good guy and deserving of that recognition.
Yep. First 4-star.
Yeah.
But my nomination would have been Roy Benavidez.
Mine too. Totally agree. He was a real hero, was he?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Green Beret, Vietnam, Medal of Honor. It don't get no better than that.
No, sure don't. So what you been up to? What kind of concerts you been going to?
This month, nothing. No haircuts. I was going to go to one on the 1st of December, but I just wasn't feeling it,
Yeah.
And all of the bands that were on the bill, I had seen this year, except the headliner. I had seen Judiciary. I'd seen 200 stab. I had just seen 200 Stab Wounds earlier this year, but Frozen Soul was like the headliner. And you know what? As luck would have it, they're coming back.
Okay.
They are going to be, hang on, let me look at my calendar. And there's a lot of stuff coming up. Okay, so they're coming up in May, just before my anniversary. It's the Metal Crushes All Tour with Amon Amarth, Cannibal Corpse, Obituary, and Frozen Soul. I mean, that's some hard metal crushing music right there, boy. You got some Viking metal. You got Cannibal Corpse with Jeff Corpse Grinder Fisher, Obituary. Those guys have been around for like 40 years out of Florida, and Frozen Soul. I got a lot of good concerts coming up next year, so check this out, man. Starting in January. Yep. Got Elvis Costello on the 22nd. Let me see. On February, I've got Machine Head and Fear Factory, Orbit Culture, and Gates of Hell. I've been really wanting to check out Orbit Culture. I really dig those guys. That's gonna be a real rager right there at the Aztec. What else? At the end of the week, I got Godsmack at the Majestic. In March, Brendan and I are going to go see Brian Setzer 2 days later, I'm going to see Municipal Waste with Ghoul and Necrot and Dead Heat. That's all in March. April, Brendan and I are going to go see Adamant and the English Beat. 2 days later, we're going to go see Social Distortion and Bad Religion. The next week, on Thursday, Brendan and I are going to go see Terry Clark. And then on Friday, all four of us are going to go see Blackberry Smoke.
All right. Where's Blackberry Smoke
let's
going to be
see.
at?
Floors.
Okay.
So in May, I told you about the Metal Crushes All tour with Amon
Right.
Amarth. And then in June, all the way out in June, you and I are going to go see Molly Hatchet.
Yeah, tell me about that group. I read a little bit about it.
You tell me about that group.
It's kind of strange how they come up with that name, Molly Hatcher, huh? But they...
Yeah, named after a murderer.
Yep.
Did she kill her husband or something?
Yeah. But they've been around. There's a group from Florida. So they
Yes,
kind of
sir.
started around that country rock.
When did they start?
They started like in
that's that southern rock sound.
Like in 60s?
You know, with like late 60s, I think. So probably like Leonard Skinner, 38 Special, that kind of rock.
Yeah,
So I mean, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think they were a takeoff with Leonard Skinner. I remember exactly what I said, but I remember there was some comparison there, and they were talking about Leonard Skinner when I was looking them up a little bit. Who's the other group that's going to be with them?
I don't think I've heard of them. June. Molly Hatchet with Naughty Grove. I've never heard of those guys.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out in
that
June.
70s. Yeah, the 70s Southern rock bands, like Atlanta Rhythm Section, Marshall Tucker, Molly Hatchet, The Outlaws, Leonard Skinner, ZZ Top, Black Oak, Arkansas, 38 Special. That's all out of that Southern rock, Georgia, Alabama, Florida.
Yeah, that time frame, yeah. That's some pretty good stuff coming out of that part of the country.
Yeah, and out of that, you get bands like the Black Crows and Blackberry Smoke that we're going to go see.
Yeah,
I really like Blackberry Smoke. They say that they're too country for rock and too rock for country.
Yeah, we saw them once before, right?
Yeah, we just saw them last year, I think.
Right.
I think it was last year.
Well, tell me about this guy, J.R. Wilbur. You're talking about maybe you're going to try to invite him onto our podcast. I tried to look him up and listen to some of his stuff, but I wasn't too. I got to go back and do it again.
Was that singer guy that hit us up on Facebook?
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, do you mind if I send you some stuff? Yeah, J.R. Wilbur. He's got some nice soft rock kind of retro, a little bit of blues, a little country, all kind of mixed in there. Yeah, I need to reach out to him and see if we can, get him to come on, share some of his music, get him to talk about his music, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I was trying to look some stuff up on him. I saw a little bit. I got to go back and check it out. I listened to a little bit of his music when you sent me that link.
The link? Yeah. On Reverb Nation. Yeah, so you can check him out on reverbnation.com/J.R. Wilbur, all one word, /songs.
Yeah, that'd be pretty neat. We could get him to come on.
Yeah, it would. But I do need to apologize to everybody because it's been a couple of weeks since we've been on. We were going to do it, what was it, last Sunday?
Yeah.
And I think you couldn't make it for some reason. And then you're like, let's do it Monday. And then I had to stay late at work. Or was that 2 weeks ago?
No, that was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I was working in the yard and had some things I had to get done and didn't get through till late. And I had to do it while the weather was still kind of nice.
Yeah, because I had that week I had a ton of interviews to do at work. We did 14 interviews in 4 days,
Oh,
7 of them
wow.
in one day. I
That's
was
pretty busy.
exhausted. Yeah,
I could imagine.
30-minute interviews. Some of them were back to back. I mean, it was just it was horrendous. I don't ever want to do that mess again. And we got more interviews coming up either next week or in the first week of January.
Are y'all getting a lot of new positions in, or are you just replacing?
Just some turnover.
Okay.
One of our 14s, she got a lateral, so she got another 14 job over in Germany, and so she's leaving in the middle of January to go to Germany. So, well, that's the one we'll be hiring for at the beginning of the year, I think.
Yeah.
But so far, this month for not doing a podcast in 2 weeks, we've done pretty good. We're up to 3,118 downloads, 3,118.
Okay.
97 in the last 30 days. Let's see. So check this out. I was just looking the other day. So far this month, we have had downloads from obviously the United States, our next door neighbors down south in Mexico, one from Australia, and one from the UK.
Okay.
Yep. All the way down in Victoria. Nobody from Canada yet.
Speaking of the UK, do you know whose birthday is today?
What is today? Today is the 17th.
December. Keith Richards.
I have Keith Richards. What is he, like 2018 years old?
He was born in 1943. So he's just a year older than I am. From Dartford, United Kingdom. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, he's so old. I think he was a waiter at the Last Supper.
I didn't.
It took you a minute to get that joke, didn't it?
Yeah, I got it. I come across that this morning, and I guess he and Mick Jagger, what I understand, they don't get along, but they're still friends. They don't. I guess they had a falling out or something and stuff like that. That was pretty interesting.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you a little bit about where you came from or where you used to live. You know where the Crampton Bowl is in Montgomery, Alabama?
The Crampton Bowl?
Crampton Bowl.
No.
It's home of the Blue-Gray game as long as it was around. It was just right down the road from where we lived when you were just a little bitty fellow when we moved to Montgomery.
Okay.
That's where the Camellia Bowl has been played at now, which is going to be here in a few days. What? The Camellia Bowl.
The what bowl?
The Camellia. Camellia, Camellia Bowl. Arkansas State and Northern Illinois on December 23rd. So I got all my bowl schedule games here.
Yeah, I guess
UTSA
that's a flower.
Coming up next week.
I know.
Yeah,
Can you believe that?
It's a state flower. That's why it's named the Camellia Bowl. Do you know what famous team played there for a long time?
Alabama?
University of Alabama. From 22 to 32, and then 34, then 44 to 46, and 51 to 54. Their all-time win record is 17 wins and 3 losses. That little bitty.
Why were they playing all the way down in Montgomery?
Probably because that was the only place they could play back then. Though the stadium wasn't big enough. that was like a 7 or 9,000 stadium back then. I think it's like 25,000 now, something like that. I'm not sure. Um, Now the Crampton Bowl has the Sun Belt Conference and the Mid Atlantic Conference teams that are playing. So they got a couple games
That's
coming up.
Division II, or is that FCS?
FCS.
Okay.
So, uh, but quite some history. But anyway, I thought I'd throw that in there. That was you were just what year old, something like that. Not quite a year old when we moved there. About 6 months, 8 months, so a year old when we lived there. When we first moved to Montgomery, and we lived in an apartment there. It was probably about a mile down the road, something like that. It's in that area where the Crampton Bowl. Back in the day, though, that was a pretty popular bowl.
Okay.
Yeah, and so we got
Speaking of college football, there's been a whole lot of mess, trash talk, sore, hurt feelings about Alabama getting in, Florida State not getting in. Was it a catch? Was it not a catch against Georgia? It's just all kinds of controversy.
Yeah, Senator Scott from Florida wrote Congress complaining, the NCAA rather, complaining that how unfair it was and stuff like that. And what they said was pretty much what you and I had talked about. The strength of the schedule, and then of course one of the things that people don't know too much about is the strength of the team. When you lose players and get hurt and you're not very strong, then you you don't, you lose some of that ranking power. When it looks at all those different factors and stuff. Whether right, wrong, or indifferent, it doesn't make any difference. That's the way it is.
But then you got Georgia fans saying that the catch was bobbled. And I have gone back and forth with these people, and they don't seem to want to hear that when he made the catch, his knee was on the ground. So then when he comes down, there is some slight movement of the ball once it hits the ground. And if you read the rule, it says slight movement does not constitute not being a catch. So I don't know what part of the rule that they're ignoring, because damn good and well, if it had gone their way for one of their players like it was a catch, they'd be saying, that's a catch, that's a catch.
That's what makes football fun, especially high school and college, well, the NFL's
it also goes to show how much it's down to a razor's edge. Because we only beat them by 3. And if we hadn't gotten that catch, we probably wouldn't have won. Had we not had that last second catch in the end zone against Auburn the week before, we wouldn't be there.
No, we wouldn't. But I think Alabama deserves to be there. I think we are. When you look at the whole schedule,
I don't think we deserve it. I think we earned our right to be there.
And I tell you, I think it's going to be 2 good ball games. I think the matchup with Michigan is going to be pretty good. My personal thoughts are I think we will come out ahead on that game, but it's going to be another close game. And I think Texas and Washington is going to be a good game. And my prediction is that we're going to play Texas again.
We're still an underdog.
Oh, yeah. And that's what I like. I think that's good for the boys to know, hey, you're not favorite. And I think that keeps you on your toes. You play a little harder and you don't buy in it and drink that Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Michigan is still a 1.5 point favorite.
Yeah. It's gonna be some good games. That's why I printed out my schedule. All these bowl games so I can watch them. And so I get Texas State's coming up here on December 26th, UTSA on December the 19th. We got these games. So, did you see that new SEC 2024 schedule yet?
I did.
There's a couple of things come out of that. I like Texas A&M was playing Oklahoma, playing Texas this year. I saw that. That's going to be a good game, and it'll be, see one of those old rivalries getting back together.
Oh yeah.
But it's going to be a sad to see the end of the traditional
The East
SEC
and the
we've
West.
known for the last few years. Yeah, we,
But you know what? It could come back into something similar to that. It could come into like a north, south, east, west kind of a thing. I don't know. And then where you have some interdivisional matchups that are always going to be there.
yeah.
So, like, you don't have to put
Texas.
Texas and Oklahoma in the same division, but they could still have that inter conference rivalry like we have with Tennessee and Auburn has with Georgia.
Yeah, and Texas is not playing Oklahoma this year.
Yeah, they are. Aren't they next year?
No.
It's in 25.
Let me look at this thing again. Yes, they are playing Oklahoma, December 12th. Yeah, I was looking at A&M. Texas and Oklahoma were playing, then Texas and A&M were playing. So that's two of the old rivalries we'll get a chance to see again. We haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah, they're playing next year.
Yep. So it's going to be fun. So
yeah, November 30th they play Texas.
Yeah.
At home, A&M does. They got a pretty easy schedule. They got Notre Dame, then they got McNeese, then they play Florida, then they got Bowling Green, then they got Arkansas, and that's going to be played in Dallas at AT&T Stadium. Then they got Missouri, Mississippi State, then they got LSU. So yeah, I'm thinking LSU is probably going to be their toughest competitor, depending on who they get to coach for them. South Carolina, New Mexico State. Oh, they got Auburn at Auburn, and then they end up with Texas. So they got a pretty easy schedule.
They're all of them. There's going to be some good matchups in that in the SEC next. And it's one of the reasons why I think it's really one of the strongest conferences out there when you look at it.
Oh, it is the strongest. And speaking of the strongest, and speaking of Alabama, Derrick Henry has become only the third player in NFL history with 10 rushing touchdowns in 6 straight seasons since joining the NFL. And he is joined by LaDainian Tomlinson and Adrian Peterson.
Oh, wow.
That's some pretty elite company right there.
Yes, it is. And I saw the other day where...
and Jerry Jones could have drafted him, but he passed on him.
Yep. And they got rid of Ezekiel, and I think they have a better running back in the running back they got now than Ezekiel was. I always thought Tony Pollard was a better running back. I don't know why.
I wasn't that high on Ezekiel Elliott.
No. So.
But you know what? You bet against Alabama at your own peril. But speaking of betting, I don't understand why Vegas has Michigan ahead of Alabama. All season long, when you watched ESPN college football discussions, and everybody was complaining about how Georgia and Michigan have not played anybody all season, and why are they ranked so high? Then we get in, and we have to play Michigan, and all of a sudden Michigan is just such a badass that they're favored over Alabama.
It's all about money.
Matter of fact, Michigan shouldn't even be there because of the allegations of recruiting violations.
I wonder if he's going to stick around. There's been a lot of talk him going back to the NFL. A lot of rumors.
He was hot garbage at San Francisco.
Yeah. So, but
So
that's what
let him
makes the
go.
game. That's what makes the game fun. All the conversation, and I like it when we're the underdogs. I I still strongly believe these kids in college. Most of them are still not as mature as we probably give them credit for on some things, especially when it comes to games and stuff like that. They start feeling like they're better than everybody else, and you know what? The other team don't necessarily believe that, and you start getting behind a little bit. And next thing you know, it's hard to catch up. Sometimes you don't. That's good. Two good examples was Auburn. Auburn just knew they was going to win that ball game. Guess what? Alabama, those players bought into what Saban is saying, and they played hard and they never quit. Same thing goes back to the other game. They didn't quit with Georgia, even though Georgia was wasn't it was a hell of a ball game. But you know what? They didn't give up. They didn't quit, even down to the last minute of the ball game. And that's what makes, to me,
No.
that's what makes college football fun.
Oh, for sure, for sure. But you know what? It's that magic time. It's after 30 minutes.
Yeah,
Gotta cut it
we're,
off.
we're gonna get in trouble if we don't.
Yep, we're gonna be. Well, you don't want us to ramble. We don't want Aunt Carolyn hollering at us. So
Nope.
keeping it short.
We'll get back together in a couple of days and do this again.
Yep, and you need to get on the socials and get on Facebook and start interacting with some of our listeners. Get on the Twitter or now X, whatever they want to call it.
Yeah. It'll still be 20 in my books. I kind of like an old fart on that kind of stuff. It's hard to change, and sometimes the memory don't work too well.
Nope. But sometimes we do got to change.
Yeah,
All right,
unfortunately.
old man.
You take care.
You too.
Love you.
We'll see if we. I love you too. Let's see if we can get this thing going next weekend. And definitely we got to do it on the 30th before New Year's. Or no, yeah, next weekend. And then dude, we got to do this on New Year's Eve. We got to record it on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve.
Yeah, there you go. Is Kaylee in there? Is Kaylee coming down for Christmas?
Yeah, they're coming down.
Yeah.
They're coming down Christmas Eve after church.
Okay. How about Erica? Did you hear anything about her? Is she still going to try to come, or?
No, she was never trying to come.
Okay. Yeah, I thought I heard one time she was going to try to come or something. But anyway, it'd be nice.
No, I think you're just making stuff up, old man.
Probably. See,
Probably.
you see this shirt? See this shirt?
Yep, I see it.
That shirt's almost as old as you.
It's that old, huh?
It's that old. I only wear it during the wintertime when it's cold out. Or in the house because your mom don't turn the heat up just like you don't turn the heat up in your house.
Nope, I like it cold.
All right.
All right.
See you
Talk to you later. Everybody, y'all take care. All right.
Love you
Dad.
guys. Y'all have a good holiday. Merry Christmas to everybody.
Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah. All right. Bye.
Bye.